Okay, well, good evening, everybody. For what is it? The 196th edition of Speaking of Zane. 196. Let me adjust my my banner. There is maybe it's a good thing it's hiding my third chin there. Let's see. There we go. Maybe that's a little better. But okay, well, good to have everybody in here for Speaking of Zane. We missed an entire week. And that's because I was out of town, but I'm glad to be back for the June 26th edition of Speaking of Zane, 196th edition. We're coming up on the 200th edition. Wow, incredible. 200 episodes, 200 times this guy's got on the air and spouted his loud mouth about stuff. Hard to believe, but good to have everybody in there. Let me do a little quick roll call here. There's my cousin Toby. Hey, Toby. There's my wife, Lori. Hey, Lori. There's Ron. You done messed up now up in Detroit. How you doing, buddy? Good to have you in there. Like Lori says, we're looking for July 30th or 31st, whenever it is, that Saturday, doing the Honor the Fallen 5K, and I am ready for it, brother. I've lost. Well, let me get to my weight loss update. I've lost 47 pounds, 47. And I'm getting close to my my next goal, 50. Getting close to 50, but 47 currently. So and I've been walking 2-3 miles a day, Aaron, and feel really good. So I'll be able to kick that 5K's butt on later in July. So good to have you in there. Let's see. Jim Miller's in there. Hey, Jimbo. Colin Krim. Hey, Colonel Krim. How you doing, buddy? There's my Aunt Mary. Hey, Aunt Mary. Another Facebook user in there. I'm not sure. It just says Facebook user for some reason. Whoever it is that said good job, guy, or great job, guy. For some reason, that depending on how you're viewing, it doesn't always translate the name. But glad to have you in there. Let's see, what do we got going on here at the fabulous McDonald Estate and Insane Asylum? I've been gone for a week. That's why we didn't have Speaking of Zane last week. I flew up to St. Louis on Sunday, and I knew I wasn't going to get there until 6:30 or so. St. Louis time would have been 7:30 here. I got checked in the hotel and everything, and just wasn't going to work out to do Speaking of Zane. So skipped a week. That's okay. And but had a fantastic week in St. Louis with my team. The very first time that my team, in over a year, this is the very first time they've ever met each other face to face. It's crazy because of the pandemic. This is a team of engineers that I've been training for the last year, and we have never all gotten together and met face to face. And this was the very first time they had visited our corporate headquarters. And it's on the occasion of their graduation from my program. So they all graduated this week. And it was an absolute blast of a week. Just an absolute blast. First time showing them around. We were eight, 8 in the morning till midnight every night. We were doing something, and just an incredible thing. I just got some emails tonight from the CEO, the president, the vice president of HR, our president of our company. I just got emails today from all of them saying how wonderful the graduation was and the program's been. And anyway, but the old "what have you done for me lately" applies, because I start a brand new class of 12 tomorrow morning, a brand new group that I'll be living every day with for the next year. So finish one, start the other. But it was really good to watch these, generally speaking, young people in their 20s really get acclimated to what we do, and gain a lot of confidence over the last year and ready to go out and be part of a team. And hopefully I've prepared them well. Time will tell, but they are all just super, super young folks. And this next group is too. This next group is a collection of pretty diverse group of individuals. I've got some females, I've got some veterans, and female engineers is that's and I won't say oddity, but it's there aren't that many of them. And I've got two or three of them in this next group, and several military guys as well. So I'm looking forward to getting that group kicked off. I do have a male nurse as well, a young man who's been a registered nurse for the last 10 years and is looking to change careers, and I'm going to teach him. So we'll see how that goes. Well, let's see. So I got back, left. I went up there on Sunday. We were busy all week, culminating in the graduation. Came home Friday night and was really wore out. And but I've had a good weekend getting caught up on a few things, and cooked a nice roast, as I often do on Sunday. And but ready to get back at it tomorrow. We've still got a group. I've got a group of a dozen that are halfway through the program now. And so they're in the home stretch, or at least the second half of the program. And there's a young man you see, Treston Stevens, there, that just joined us for the stream. He's in that group out of Charlotte, North Carolina, sharp young man, and had a chance to spend some time with him this week, and the others. So good stuff. Well, let's see. No news on the neighbor's house fire. They still haven't got started. I don't know what the holdup is, but the house is gutted, like I mentioned, but they haven't begun to do anything on the inside. So I'll keep you guys updated. All right. Happy birthday is in order. We got a happy birthday this week. My daughter-in-law, Abigail, mother of 6, including two of Zane's children, Colton and Paisley. So happy birthday, Abby. We love her. Zane and Abby met each other. Oh, let's see. Lori's going to have to put in the chat. Put in the chat, Lori. When did Zane and Abigail first meet? But they married when Zane got back from Iraq, and you know the rest of the story. But Abby will always be our daughter and daughter-in-law, but daughter, and just an incredible young woman, awesome mother, and we love her to death. Happy birthday, Abigail. Lori says 5th grade. 5th grade. How about that? And so that's awesome. Facebook user says busy at Topgolf. Yeah, we did a Topgolf outing. Boy, I tell you, we had a good time, didn't we, Trez? We one of our business partners treated us to an evening there at the Topgolf in St. Louis, and we had a really good time. Sure did. And Toby, yeah, I saw that you got Wrigley checked off. I did that a few years ago. That's a special place. I tell you, I feel there's 3 ballparks right now that when I walk into, I feel the history, and that's Fenway, Wrigley, and Dodger Stadium. Well, good for you for getting that knocked out. All right, well, let's see. Where was I? I saw there were some other activities going on with the crowd. I don't know if Amy's in here tonight, but the Fourth Acts had a reunion up in South Dakota over the weekend. I saw some of the snippets from that. I'm glad you guys had a good time there. We will be having a 10th Acts reunion in September in Branson, Missouri. How about that? And that's going to be a lot of fun. We did that a few years ago before the pandemic in San Antonio. So we'll be doing a 10th Acts reunion in September. Looking forward to that. Let's see. Oh, speaking of Air Force, I was invited to a retirement ceremony of a friend of mine. I made friends with this guy down in Savannah. I met him through the amateur radio club, and this is a dozen years ago now. And he's moved up through the ranks, and he's retiring after 20 years as a senior master sergeant. And he's invited me to come up for his retirement ceremony, and I have accepted. And I know that Lori will want to come along on this trip because it's in Williamsburg, Virginia. So we'll take that trip together, get to see the grandkids and see my friend Greg Bandish retire from 20 years of active duty. I'm working on maybe figuring out how to get him on board at the company I work for. He's a cyber guy now, and it would be a good fit in several of our roles. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, Lori says, let's go Dodgers. The Dodgers lost to the Braves last night, game one, and they're playing right now. I just checked on it, and it was 0-0. I don't know. I turned it off, though, so I wouldn't be distracted during speaking of Zane. But all right, well, let's see. Okay, there's Ken. Yeah, hey, Ken. That's Ken in there. Yeah, okay, now it makes sense, buddy. Well, glad to have you in there, Ken. Good to see you. Lori's coming down y'all's way tomorrow. Lori, or not, maybe not tomorrow. I think Lori has decided on Tuesday. Actually, Lori and our little grandson Everett, Hannah's son, and their little dog Dougal are coming down to My Warriors place in Tampa, just south of Tampa, for the week. And Lori's dog Dougal is going to get some professional training from Chad there at My Warriors place. And but she's probably not going to go tomorrow after all because she broke her cell phone and the replacement doesn't get here. Well, the replacement doesn't get here till tomorrow. So she didn't want to be out on the road with no phone. So, but she'll be down that way for the week back down at My Warriors place. All right, let's see. St. Louis trip, 4th Acts, 10th Acts. My buddy Greg, Lori, and Everett, and Dougal. Oh, I saw a nice article. Some of you know our old friend Dale Lutzen, the Senior Master Sergeant Dale Lutzen. Dale was a crew chief on ECs when we were all at Offutt, and Dale has since retired, of course, but we stay in touch. But Dale found a really nice, or not found, actually, Dale co-authored a very nice article in the not Airman magazine, but somebody help me. What's the group that Dale's affiliated with? It's gosh, I can't remember now, but Dale wrote a very nice article, co-authored an article about TBI and PTSD. And it was awesome. Did an awesome job. I shared that on the Speaking of Zane Facebook group, so you guys have probably seen it. Let's see. Ken, you're in there. I know you're in there, Ken, but I know also that you suffered the loss of a colleague this past week. And I just wanted to check and see if you wanted to share anything about that, Ken. The loss of a comrade for sure it's a terrible thing, but maybe just tell me in the chat there if you wouldn't mind sharing or not. It's none of our business. Okay, I think that's Daryl that was at church and is checking in with us. Hey, Daryl, up there in St. Louis area. All right, we'll come back to Ken there. He'll either tell me to mind my own business or he'll tell us a little bit of information about his colleague there that passed. Okay, let's see. Oh, speaking of passing, I tell you what, I have some terrible news to report. I'm not sure anybody on the call knows this friend of mine, but his name is Matt, and he and I have known each other since about 2000, when we became teammates at work. He was the sales rep, the account manager. I was the engineer, and we became a team and worked together for a number of years and have stayed in touch all of these years later. And just a great guy, great family. His wife Suzanne and Lori and I have gone to ball games and different things with him. But he works for Cisco Systems, where I used to work, and just a awesome guy, Christian family. I was talking to him yesterday, and I reminded him of this. But when Lori and I, about 5 or 6 months in after losing Zane, Matt and Suzanne gifted us with attendance at a weekend retreat in Nashville at with a Christian couple and about 10 other couples who had lost children. And it was probably the most therapeutic thing that has happened, or that Lori and I have experienced after Zane's death, was the attendance at this retreat with those other couples, and then the ongoing interaction that we have with them on the Facebook group and whatnot. Well, Matt and his wife Suzanne gifted that whole experience to us, and I was in St. Louis at our headquarters on Friday, and I get a text from a mutual friend of ours, Jason, and Jason said, "Hey man, I don't know what you're doing, but can you break away so I can call you?" And I said, "Yeah," and so I did, and he tells, he says, "Hey, listen, I got some bad news. I want to share with you because I think you are probably in a position to be helpful in some way." And he said, I wanted to tell you that Matt and Suzanne's oldest son, Jack, who's I think about 22, passed away. Just devastating. And, and of course, it brought me right back, and I could certainly feel, feel the absolute overwhelming grief that they're experiencing right now. And so, I don't know how I'll be able to help him or not, but he did reach out to me yesterday, and we had a long conversation. And I just tried to be a good friend and not assume anything, and not give any unsolicited advice, and but let him know, that I'll drop whatever I'm doing if he ever thinks there's a way that I can help them. But all I could do was cry with him on the phone, and circumstances were somewhat similar with him finding his son and trying to revive him, much like I did with Zane. And he, it just paints this indelible memory when you experience something like that. But it's crazy. He's the second work teammate that I have that has lost a son. There's been two account manager teammates I've had that I've been the closest to, and that we've worked the longest together. And now both of them have lost sons, and it's crazy. But anyway, that's the sad news. And so if you'll pray for Matt and Suzanne, and they have two other children, Luke and Reagan, and they're late teens. But anyway, just a terrible thing, without a doubt. Okay, let's see. Ken's telling us about his friend Mark, who had a brain tumor. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, Ken. Genuinely amazing person. Yeah, yeah. It's doesn't seem fair. These bodies weren't meant to last forever, that's for sure, and they're not impervious to disease. We know that. But we know that, but it doesn't make it any easier. That's for sure. Does not make it any easier. So anyway, Ken will be thinking about not just you, but Mark's family for sure. Okay. Well, let's see. What is? You can probably guess. I'm a hat wearer. I'm a ball cap wearer. And yeah, they do have another girl, Laura. You're right. That's younger. Yeah. But anyway, I am a ball cap wearer, and I wear a hat pretty much all the time. And when I'm wearing one on Sunday evening for Speaking to Zane, that becomes the hat of the week. And the hat of the week generally has something to do with what I've been doing this week, or what's going on, or what's coming up, or connected in some way, because it's just fun. And so this week, I spent the entire week at our global headquarters, Worldwide Technology in St. Louis. So by golly, that is the hat of the week. Okay, well, let's see. What else we got going on here? This week in military history, I have a couple of items. Since we missed it, let me say happy birthday to the United States Army. June the 14th, 1775. We had a United States Army before we had a United States. Think about it. So all you soldiers out there, congratulations, including Hannah and Zane. Happy birthday. All right, another This Week in Military History that hits kind of close to home to many of us on the call tonight. Steve and Amy and Jim. Anybody that served with Master Sergeant Michael Heiser, who was killed on June the 25th, 1996 in the Kobar Towers terrorist bombing. And 26 years ago, we lost Mike, who we all served with at RAF Mildenhall and Lodges Field Azores. Mike was a communication systems operator, one of the best. And you work alongside him, and you make friends with him, and you part ways, and then the next thing you know, he's gone. And he was had transferred. Obviously, he was flying with Special Air Missions Unit, and they were there in Saudi Arabia. And when the terrorists blew up the front of the building there, and Mike was one of the 19 airmen killed, 400 and some odd injuries, wounded from the branches and other nations. But we lost our buddy Mike that day. And I have had the opportunity to visit Mike at Arlington and a couple of times now. So rest in peace there, Mike. All right, let's see. Oh, good, Ken. Yeah. I appreciate you going by and seeing him. I knew when I knew you were going, I gave you a list, and now that you've seen the post, you can put a face with a name. That's good. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, Lori's right. I missed Flag Day last Saturday too. Flag Day is the day before Father's Day, isn't it? Something like that. I missed that. We're coming up on Lori's favorite holiday, 4th of July. In fact, she's got some things out on the porch for me to put up in celebratory fashion. Let's see. That's This Week in Military History. How about our Veteran Cemetery Challenge? We did have some visits this week, as we often do, usually do. Rarely a week goes by that we don't have one. So Daryl visited Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery there, where his Wanda rests. And then Jim Miller visited his wife Deborah there at St. John's in North O. I think it's in North. Is it North O or South O, Jim? And then Jim also swung by Omaha National Cemetery, where he visited Corporal Dagan Page, who was killed in that disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan last year, coming up on a year now, as well as our friend Todd Vanderwerken that we all flew with. Todd would have been 60 years old last week. He didn't make it to 60. Okay, so with those visits, we had 3 visits for the week, which puts us at 638 visits to over 157 different veteran cemeteries. So appreciate you guys doing that with us. I tell you, we got kind of hooked on that, and you guys have stepped up with us. And tell you what, I enjoy paying respects and visiting new cemeteries. They all have something in common. They all have so many things different. It's just an interesting thing when you visit. Thank you there, Jim. Bellevue, so it's south there. There's Aunt Paula, who I adore. Hey, Aunt Paula down in Florida. Hope you're doing okay. Lori's going to be coming down this week. I don't know what all she has planned. She's going to be at my Warrior's place. She's taking her little dog Dougal to get some training and bringing Everett Zane. Zane's his middle name, even though he's Hannah's son. And Hannah decided to honor her brother Zane and give her son Everett the middle name Zane. And Everett and I were on the porch last night talking about his uncle. He says he never met his uncle, but he says, I sure miss my Uncle Zane. And because we talk about him and he knows about him, and never met him, but he says, I miss my Uncle Zane. But he's his namesake, one of his namesakes. Remember, one of Zane's battle buddies has named his brand new baby Zane. All right, let's see. So that's the Veterans Cemetery Challenge, and I am a couple of weeks since I visited Zane, so you can bet your bottom I'll be out there this weekend for sure. Okay, what about the Thank a Vet Challenge? We had quite a few thank yous this week, as we often do. It's not like we're hunting vets, but we're out there and we're just aware that veterans exist, and when we see them, we tell them thank you or I appreciate you. And we had quite a few of those this week, and including some that Aunt Paula has racked up. But let me run through the list here. See, and if I get any of this wrong, help me out here. But I got Daryl for an Army vet, and I think Daryl was at the Walmart or the Sam's Club or Costco or something. Jimbo thanked 2 Air Force nurses and the gate guard. Lori had an interesting exchange she just posted about where she somebody had bought her order at the McDonald's drive-through and paid for it. So she went to do the same thing for the person behind her, and it turned out to be a law enforcement officer. And then she ended up giving him one of her back the blue cards. So nice story about that. So Lori had one. Let's see. I had 8. So, I spent the whole week at work. I got to meet some people I hadn't met face-to-face before, many of them vets, and had the opportunity to thank a number of them, 8 of them, while I was in St. Louis this week. And I did something else too. I've often mentioned that we've got a veterans employee resource group at work, and basically we just kind of hang out online together, and we share stories, and we talk. We help each other, we mentor each other. Just kind of vets helping vets, and our executive leadership at the company has been really great about supporting us and everything. So I had an opportunity to spend some time with several of our executives this week because I asked them to participate in my graduation ceremony, and they all did. And so I was able to give each of them, not all of them, because one of them was on virtually, but I gave them one of our very nice. Let's see if I don't have one. I don't have one with me over here, but I had some very nice challenge coins made. Got them all over there. I had some nice challenge coins, so I was able to give some of our executive leadership, some of our Veterans Challenge coins while I was there this week. All right, let's see. Lori says she did not give him a card. Okay, so I read that wrong. Go back and read it. It was quite lengthy. Sometimes I fall asleep halfway through, but no. I think she tried to or was going to, or there was some reason. But anyway, Lori got a thank you in there. And then Aunt Paula coming in on top again this week, the reigning champion. Aunt Paula, let me see if I get this right, Aunt Paula, because it was 2 different entries, if I recall. You thanked a 100-year-old World War II veteran. How about that? I tell you what, we are losing them every day. What a treat it is to be able to say thank you to a World War II vet. She also thanked a Navy vet, an Army vet, a Navy vet, a deputy sheriff, a Marine Corps vet, and another Army vet. So I think I got Aunt Paula's count right at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for the week. Now that's not anywhere close to her weekly high, but it's good nonetheless. So good job, Aunt Paula. You are a patriot. And then let's see. I think that's all of them. So if I total all that up, we had 21 thank yous. This relatively small group of like-minded patriots thanked 21 people. So that's good. Our total count is 1,549. 1,549 times a veteran or law enforcement officer, first responder has heard from one of us. Thank you. I appreciate you. And that's good in my book. Let's see, what am I missing in the chat here? Good stuff, okay. All right, well, let's see what else we got here. We have got, I mentioned the Running to Honor 5K coming up in just over a month. And we will be ready, AA Ron. We're looking forward to it. It's one of our favorite places. There we do it in Woodstock, Georgia. And it's a nice flat 1.5 miles out, 1.5 miles back. And there's a market there. There's a beer garden. There's all kind of cool stuff to do at the finish line. So, and we have some great friends that always turn out and help us. I think, again, this year, I think my dad, and my sister, my nephew, who is an Army officer, I think they are coming up as well. So it's going to be fun. And we're looking forward to it. And it's often the case that we'll go have lunch after at our favorite restaurant, Semper Fi Bar and Grill. So we make a day out of it. So thanks to Matt and Katie Aaron for turning us on to that, because they know Aaron and got us connected with Aaron, and we've had Aaron as a guest, and this will be our 3rd year doing the run, and we just feel like we've got this connection with Aaron and everything he does up there for the veteran community. So shout out to you, Aaron. All right, let's see. I think that is it for tonight. Fortunately, I didn't see any incidents, accidents, deaths over the last week or so that I'm aware of. As you know, whenever we lose someone in combat or a training accident, we just want to recognize the sacrifice, and we'll continue to do that each year, each week if that occurs. Unfortunately, we haven't had any this week that I'm aware of. But I wanted to show you guys a picture of these young engineers that over the last year, I've spent every day of the last year with them and took them from zero to where they're now going out into the field as productive associate level engineers at our company. And I forgot that I had pulled a picture of them up here. I was going to share with you. Lori's never even met these folks and never really even seen them. But I wanted to share a picture of them real quick and just give you a look at what they look like. Okay, let's see. The right screen for you here. I'm just proud of these people. I tell you, I you'll see what I mean when you see their picture and how young they are. Let me see if I can. No, wrong thing. There we go. I want to full screen. There we go. So there's 7 of them, and I interviewed them all. I hired them all. I thought highly of them all. I thought, okay, they have great aptitude to learn the kinds of things that they need to know, and I think they have the aptitude to do it in a year. Can you guys hear me? Let me see. I better put my face back on there just to make sure. There we go. Okay. I think you can hear me. Anyway, so they've been with me for a year, pretty much every day. And you can see by their age, they range anywhere from maybe 22 or 22 to 32. And so it's easy to see why I sort of treat them like my children. And I have honestly tried to resist the urge to be too fatherly to them. But I can't tell you that I 100% succeeded. I've given them fatherly advice. I've given them fatherly chastisement. I've held them accountable. I've shown disappointment. I've cheered them on. I've promoted them to others. I've taught them. I've spanked them, and and when you spend that much time with somebody and you go through all of that stuff and you're teaching them and you're training them, you can't help but get really close to them. And this group is special. They were my very first group. And there's 7 of them, as you can see there. We found 7, and the boss said, just go. I said, you want me to do about 10? He says, let's just get started. So we started with 7. And I told this story when we did the graduation ceremony. I told the story about how it arrived at 7. Engineers hate 7. It's an odd number. We like even numbers. We like symmetry. And anyway, so wound up with 7. And the first week I told this story to the company, across the whole company. And I said, somebody asked, how did you arrive at 7? And I said, well, and then the first week that I have them, I'm glad that we getting things kicked off. I'm excited. They're timid. They're, nervous and excited at the same time. And, part way through the week, I'm like, okay, there's 7 of them. There's 7 of them. They got to have a nickname. Okay, they're the Magnificent 7. I said to myself, that's what their name is. They're going to be the Magnificent 7. That's the nickname. And I told them that. And then the end of that first week comes, and I'm so relieved that we got off to a good start. And if Tresden's still on there, he heard the story on Thursday, but got off to a great start. And Friday comes around, and I'm like, the first week's behind me. Let me just sit back and relax. And I said, I'm going to watch the movie. The Magnificent 7. If you don't know The Magnificent 7, it's an old Western, and it's about a group of 7 individuals, diverse sort of backgrounds, but they're the good guys, and they band together to save the town from the bad guys, and they're called the Magnificent 7. Well, they did indeed save the town against the bad guys, and they were indeed magnificent. But as I found out toward the end of the movie on that Friday night, 4 of them didn't make it. 4 of them got killed, and I'm like, I cannot call this first group the Magnificent 7 if 4 of them aren't going to make it. So, anyway, it's turned out to be a good joke. Turned out to be a good, funny story, and so they didn't have a nickname. I had to tell them the next week, you guys are not the Magnificent 7 because you're all 7 going to make it. and we just call them Cohort 1, and that's been their name ever since. But you can see left to right is Antonio. Antonio spent 6 years in the Air Force, and then next to him is Jackson. Jackson's a Clemson grad, lives in Charlotte now. And then there's Sophie Black. Sophie's a Purdue grad. She lives in Pennsylvania. And then me in the middle, and then Gage. Gage is a Western Kentucky grad, lives down in near Tampa, Sarasota. And then behind him is Bryant Stewart. Bryant lives up in Minnesota. And next to him is Harrison. Harrison lives in Seattle. And we have another person in Seattle coming on tomorrow. And then behind him is Logan. Well, first, Harrison's a Washington State University grad, a double E, electrical engineer. Behind him is Logan. Logan is a University of Central Florida grad, and he lives in Chicago now. So I have officially transferred them to their new manager, and they are out in the field and ready to rock and roll. So anyway, that's my story about my kids, my work kids. I'll have a whole new batch tomorrow. Okay, well, that is all I've got for this edition of Speaking of Zane. Thanks for letting me talk a little bit more about work than I normally do here, but good to have everybody in there. Hope everybody has a great week. Like I said, I'm back to square one. I just had the culmination of a year, and now I'm starting over again, but it's exciting. I'm having to remember how we did this the last time, and thank God I've got an outstanding teammate, Ashley, who's helping me, keeping me straight. She's a school teacher that we hired, thank God. And so we'll get going tomorrow with that group. But one thing's for sure, we'll see you guys right back here next Sunday night for Speaking of Zane. I'll let you know how the first week went. And we'll check on Lori. She should be back or on her way back from My Warriors Place with a report on Kelly and the crew down there, and Dougal. And was the training worth it? And we'll talk about that next Sunday night. On Speaking of Zane, it'll be the 97th edition. So we look forward to seeing everybody then. God bless. Have a great week. Make it count.